What's up, comic book community? Joe here with another episode of 360 Comics. We got a tote box full of Bronze Age goodness. Got this off Facebook Marketplace for a great price. Cannot wait to dig in and see what's here. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so soon because we're giving away this book right here for our 3,000 subscriber giveaway. It's The Incredible Hulk, number 449, the first appearance of the Thunderbolts. All you have to do to enter, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like this video, leave a comment down below, and of course, check out our other videos, like them, and leave comments on them for additional entries. Also, if you're around this weekend, Saturday, May 27th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Philadelphia area, I am hosting Back Deck Comic Fest at my house. Message me on Instagram for more information. Let me tell you, 9 out of 10 times, actually probably more than 9 out of 10 times, Facebook Marketplace posts about comic books are absolute junk, or they want way too much money for what they have. A lot of times it's those 90s books that were printed to death that no one really wants, a lot of Valiant titles and, deep into Image runs and things like that. And, the books that had just the massive print runs that you find in every collection. Or they have some good stuff and they're asking high market value or even above FMV, graded prices on raw books, all that kind of stuff. But, every once in a while comes along a Facebook Marketplace post that is worth checking out. And this one definitely was. So, this was the book that I saw in the picture. In fact, I'm going to put the picture up right now. You can see Amazing Spider-Man number 100 was listed, in the picture rather, of the listing. And as you can see, it was listed at $200 for the lot. And given that this book is worth probably $100 if it's in at least mid-grade, I figured, that there were enough other books there that for $200, this was going to be a solid deal. And as you can see in the picture, there were other Bronze Age books. I figured it was stuff from this time period. And there looked to be at least 30, 40, maybe even 50 other books. Well, guess what? I got there, and it actually was a large tote of comics that probably had, I didn't give a count, but I would assume there's about 200 total comic books, all mostly Bronze Age, a couple things from the Silver Age, actually, and there were a couple books that were from the 80s, mostly, filler issues and stuff like that, but that didn't matter. There was tons of good Bronze Age stuff and some silver. We're going to get into the 20 best books that I pulled out, so let's get started. We'll kick it off with the DC stuff, and here we've got Action Comics number 340. This is the first appearance of Parasite, and I think this is actually a pretty solid spec book for the future of the DC universe. We know we're getting a Superman movie. We've seen, Zod show up. We've seen Lex Luthor in the movies and stuff like that. Parasite might be a good option to pick up. I'm not a Superman guy, so I'm probably going to let this go. So if you are specking on this character, I certainly will have one available for sale. This book you might have seen on my Instagram post from yesterday is House of Mystery number 195. This has a story that was written a couple years before the first appearance of Swamp Thing that has a character that looks very similar and acts very similar to Swamp Thing. It's basically a prototype of that character, and that story was written and drawn by Swamp Thing artist Bernie Wrightson, who not only did the art on Journey in a Mystery, House of Secrets number 92, the first appearance of Swamp Thing, but also that first solo Swamp Thing run from the early 1970s. This is a great book to pick up. I have to think this one's going to stay in my personal collection unless I come across a higher grade copy in the near future. Now, speaking of Swamp Thing, there was no issue number 1, but there was a nice copy of issue number 2. I believe this is the first appearance of Abby Arcane. And yeah, definitely a character that is super important in Swamp Thing mythos. And this was actually one that I did not yet have for my run of Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing issues 1 through 10. So I'm probably going to hold on to this one for myself. Then we've got this. Speaking of these swampy characters, his Marvel counterpart, we've got Man-Thing. This is Adventure into Fear number 10. This is the first solo story of Man-Thing. And actually, is it no, it's not his first appearance in comics, but it's his first solo story. In the Adventure into Fear run, which was introduced, not introduced, but gave Man-Thing his own title for a little bit, as well as Morbius starting in issue number 20. It was big Bronze Age horror, and this collection had quite a bit of that Bronze Age horror. Now we're getting into some Avengers here. There wasn't much DC, as you can tell. We've got Avengers number 62. This is the first appearance of, he was called Man-Ape at the time, but we know him as M'Baku. Great character from the Black Panther franchise and just the greater MCU. And it seems like he is going to be the king of Wakanda going forward. Very excited to see that. Love Winston Duke as an actor and how he portrays that character. Moving up a couple issues, we've got Avengers number 66. This is the first mention of adamantium. Obviously, a nice little key, on the smaller side, more affordable, that has to do with one of everyone's favorite characters, Wolverine. And, an important thing, in the Marvel Universe, the metal adamantium. And there's been some rumors swirling that adamantium will be introduced soon into the MCU, probably related to the giant celestial that's poking out of the earth. Who knows? That might actually happen. It might not. Doesn't matter. We got the next book, Avengers number 69. Now, this is the first appearance of the Grandmaster, character that we've seen a couple times in the MCU, and, just a solid later Silver Age Avengers key. Going up 2 more issues to issue 71, we've got the first appearance of the Invaders, who, we've got Human Torch, Submariner, and Captain America, the Golden Age characters that Marvel kept using into the Silver Age, grouping up as a team together and forming the Invaders. And great cover here. I love it with the Eiffel Tower in the background. We got one more Avengers book before we move on to some other stuff, and that is Avengers issue number 100. Not only is it a milestone issue with this really great Bronze Age bordered cover, but it also is the first time that all the members of the Avengers, every character who was an Avenger at any point during those first 99 issues, they are in this book. Every single one of them. I think that's really cool that they brought them all back for that milestone issue. Love to see it. Anyway, we got Captain America next. Only one Cap book that made the cut here, and that is issue number 168, the first appearance of Baron Zemo. Now, this character has come and gone in the MCU, or has he? Will he be back with the Thunderbolts team? Personally, I do think so. I forget if he was actually one of the announced characters, and you can let me know in the comments below if I'm mistaken about that, but I think he's going to show up, I'm pretty sure he wasn't announced officially yet, but I think he certainly will at some point. Then we're moving over to some Hulk, issue number 162, the first appearance of Wendigo, character who, popped in and out of the Hulk book, and most notably is in that little Wolverine saga in his first couple appearances. And no, unfortunately, that book was not in here. I didn't get that lucky, but definitely got some good stuff nonetheless. Let's keep going now with Fantastic Four, number 112. This is a classic cover. No key significance of this book other than the phenomenal cover. I believe this is Buscema. Yeah, Joe Buscema. Bushima. I've heard it pronounced different ways. Joe. His name is not Joe. It's John. My name's Joe. His name's John. I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. Maybe. I'm not sure. It's one way or another. Somebody tell me in the comments down below. Anyway, great Buscema cover and just classic one that is probably going to stand the test of time. Ooh, here's a good one next. Submariner number 50. This is the first appearance of Namorita, who did appear in the movie, the Black Panther, this Wakanda Forever, alongside Namor. I think we will continue to see her going forward alongside Namor, and they're cousins? I think that's the whole deal. This next one's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Unfortunately, it was one of the lower grade books. This is Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, number 1, first appearance of the character. Classic cover from the Bronze Age. Really, actually one of my favorite Bronze Age covers, and a book that I don't think I have ever owned. Never been in a collection that I bought. I don't think I ever had a copy when I was younger, but really cool. First appearance, unfortunately, does have a pretty bad spine roll. One of the lower grade books. It should be said, most of these books were like mid-grade, between like 5 and 6.5. Couple of them were a little bit lower than that in the 4s. This one, I think I have it listed as a 2.5 to 3. So this one's one of the lower grade ones, but nonetheless, great book. Now we're moving on to some Amazing Spider-Man to cap it off. We saw issue 100 earlier. We'll come back to that in just a second. But first, we're going all the way back to the one Silver Age ASM book that was in this collection, issue number 40, the second artwork on Amazing Spider-Man by John Romita Sr., a really, really classic cover. In my opinion, it is almost as good as the previous issue, issue number 39, that gets all the love. But that being said, great cover. This one, I gotta check. This might be better than my personal collection copy, so I might end up keeping this one. Then we got issue number 100. We saw that in the beginning of the video. That was the book that set this whole thing in motion. I saw that on Facebook Marketplace. I knew I needed this collection. I knew it was going to be a good pickup for the $200 that it was listed at. And by these last couple books, I think you're going to see that it definitely was. First up, we got Amazing Spider-Man number 121, The Death of Gwen Stacy, one of the most classic stories of all time. Jerry Conway just being one of the best Spider-Man writers of all time. I don't think he gets enough credit. Obviously Stan Lee did a lot of stuff in the beginning of Spider-Man and created the character. We've got, the Bendis run. We've got, the McFarlane art during his time. And, of course, we've got Dan Slott. But by the way, by the Bendis run, I mean Ultimate Spider-Man. But that being said, I don't think Jerry Conway gets enough love. This is a great book, as is the next issue, number 122, The Death of Norman Osborn. Green Goblin, classic story again, two-part actually, it's kind of like a three-part story because her funeral was in the subsequent issue after this. Great book. Now, I love this one too. Great key here. Issue number 124, the first appearance of Man-Wolf. I think this is a kind of an underrated book, and they can kind of tie this character in with the Marvel horror stuff that they're doing. Will they do this character alongside Werewolf by Night? I don't know. Maybe they'll stay away from Man-Wolf because of the inclusion of Werewolf by Night. Maybe they think they're too similar, but maybe they could team up together or something. Sadly, the Amazing Spider-Man stuff only went up to issue number 128. We were missing the Punisher by one issue. That would have been a great find, but the last book is a doozy here, a Silver Age book, a Silver Age Silver Surfer. Now, this is issue number 4. This might be the most popular cover of all time that is not a key other than being a classic cover. There is no key significance, at least I don't think, about this book. Maybe first battle between Silver Surfer and Thor or something like that, but certainly no real big significant first appearance or anything like that. But this cover, hands down, is one of the greatest of all times. And as you can see, there is a piece of this cover missing. There are lots of color breaks and stuff like this. I have this thing listed as a 1.5. It is clearly low grade, but yeah, to find it in this collection, I was so surprised to see it. And once again, I paid $200, which was the asking price. No need to haggle on this one. No need to offer something less. I was very happy to get this for the price that I did. And yeah, took it home. I didn't know all this was in here. I kind of paged through the stuff and saw, oh, wow. There were some good things in there. I did not know this was in here until I got home. I wish I had taken a video of me going through this for the first time, but yeah. Hindsight is 2020. Maybe next collection I'll try to do that and see if we can get some good content out of it. Anyway, Facebook Marketplace. Every once in a while, you find that diamond in the rough. If you follow Pope of Chillytown on Instagram, you probably know that recently he got a very rare Star Wars book, Star Wars Clone Wars #1. Not just that, but the variant cover that only 1,000 were printed. Just absolute ghost of a modern book. One of the most expensive modern books. Certainly over $5,000 in a 9.8. He's getting that thing pressed, cleaned, and sent off to CGC because he's going to try to get that. And that was another Facebook Marketplace score. So I advise you, check it out. You're going to strike out a lot. There's going to be bad stuff on there. But if you check every couple days or once a week or something like that, you eventually will probably find something good. I found some cool things that way, including this phenomenal collection. Let me know in the comments below what you've found on Facebook Marketplace. Let me know your favorite book that you saw in this collection. Until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.